When we moved to Rotterdam, the place that we moved into had a lot of IKEA Tradfri, I don't know how to pronounce that, products, lights already installed with remote controls, different remote controls. See these small things, and I realized they were actually Zigbee devices and ideal to incorporate into Home Assistant. So what I did is I took an old Raspberry Pi 2 Model B that I had lying around, and I invested some money into a Zigbee dongle, Sonoff Zigbee dongle. Let's just get it closer there. That I bought on Amazon, and this is what it looks like. There we go. Oops. There we go. And it comes with a little antenna. So you put the antenna on, and then I also used a USB extension cable so it doesn't plug in directly onto the Raspberry Pi, so you don't have radio interference from there. So I take this and plug it into the Raspberry Pi. So the first bit that you have to do is install Raspberry Pi on, or Raspberry Pi OS on Raspberry Pi. And to do that, you go to the raspberrypi.com site, you go to software, and then there is an option to download the Raspberry Pi Imager. And I've downloaded that, and this is what it looks like. So basically what you do, you need to choose the OS you want to use. Because I have a Raspberry Pi 2, which is quite old, it still works, but it's quite old. I went for the 32-bit option because that's what runs on the Raspberry Pi 2. So you just go for that, you select it, you choose your storage, you write it, and once that's done, you plonk it into the Raspberry Pi and start it up and let it begin its installation process. It takes a while the first time round. Once that is done, you need to install Zigbee to MQTT, and you just go to the Zigbee to MQTT.io website. When you're on the Zigbee to MQTT website, there's a Get Started guide. Follow that guide. It will tell you how to set up your Raspberry Pi. So you just follow the normal stuff. But it's easy as easy as just installing Raspberry Pi OS. And then you jump to the Linux section. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to see where the Zigbee dongle is. So the normal Zigbee Sonoff dongle, you have to find that on the USB devices. So once you've plugged it in, you follow the instructions. It would typically be on the /dev tty acm0 Zigbee, and I just follow the instructions. It is ls-l dev/serial/by ID. It will list the items per ID, and you'll see that I have this device, USB ITAD, Sonoff, Zigbee, blah blah blah, the whole thing, and it tells you where it's connected to. That's once you've got that, you can use that in the configuration. So just follow the setup here, step for step. It's easy as that. You just go step for step, make sure that you follow it, and once you've installed it, you set up the link to your MQTT. I am running Docker instances for Home Assistant. So I've got Home Assistant and Mosquito running, as well as Node-RED, and those I've configured separately already so that they can talk to each other. But once you've done that, you configure MQTT settings for Zigbee to MQTT, and once that's done, you would start the device. You will see straight away whether it's working or not, and then you should be able to go to the Zigbee to MQTT website. Now mine's running already, so as you can see, I've got all our devices on here. But basically what it comes down to is when a Zigbee device like broadcast that's available and on the network, your Zigbee to MQTT device can listen to it and pick up the device. So you would say permit all. So it's in listening mode. It'll run for about 4.5 minutes. I think it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds, or what, I can't remember exactly. But in this, while it's doing this, any Zigbee device that's brand new, that's switched on and available on the network, it'll broadcast, and you'll find that broadcast in your Zigbee to MQTT setup, or find it and identify it and show it in this list. I've already renamed all my devices, but when you do a new device, it will actually start with the name of the IEEE address, and it'll tell you whether it's what the manufacturer is, what model it is, etc. And you want to see more detail, you can click on it and see the details. That's quite nice. And once you've joined your devices to your network here on the Zigbee to MQTT, you would say disable the join, because you don't want your neighbors' Zigbee devices to join your network. That could be confusing. So you just do that, and once you've got that in place and you've configured Zigbee to MQTT to talk to Home Assistant, it's part of the setup, then you can say use these devices in Home Assistant. So what I've done is I've set up all my devices on Home Assistant. Let's just have a refresh here of the screen, and let's see. So yeah, there we go. If you're wondering how to get your devices to broadcast on the Zigbee network, if it's a new device, you switch it on, and it, by default, it's the first time it switches on, it will actually broadcast to the network. If your lights have been used before, like we had here, and you had to factory reset them, what the IKEA devices do is that if you switch them on and off 6 times in a row quickly, then it will factory reset and then start broadcasting. And then Zigbee to MQTT will find that device and start interrogating it to find its details. I hope that helps.